The next question is, I'm borrowing from Dominic's keynote this morning titled Blockchain Singularity. In terms of applications, what do you think is or could be the singularity point that can trigger mass adoption and that can bring in tens or even hundreds of millions of users to the blockchain world? Can I start with Dominic this time?
Well, you know, sometimes the technology races ahead of adoption, and I think that's happened here. You know, banks are still using COBOL and employing 80-year-old programmers to fix it. So, you know, we're not going to get, you know, blockchain singularity is something that happens over decades. Look, I'd say this. I think DeFi is going to be bigger than traditional finance within 10 years. I think in 10 years' time, it'll be completely obvious that the majority of building is going to start taking place on a blockchain. And the reason is simple. Smart contracts are a new kind of software, and they have very profound advantages over systems built on the traditional IT stack. So for that reason, inevitably, blockchain will become the complete stack, and people will build with smart contracts. Smart contracts will eat the world, to borrow a phrase from Andreessen Horowitz. And, you know, it's not going to happen overnight. So when I talk about blockchain singularity, I don't mean we're all going to wake up and all of a sudden everything's built on blockchain. I think it's going to accelerate. And I do think that it's inevitable that, you know, blockchain is not only the new internet, but it's also the new stack. And what's really key here is that when you rebuild things with smart contracts, you gain new capabilities. And that means when you rebuild things, you reimagine them. Okay, so, you know, if you look at DeFi, it doesn't look like traditional finance. Ethereum is, you know, a highly constrained blockchain, but people chose to build DeFi on Ethereum, not on Amazon Web Services, because you can't build DeFi on Amazon Web Services. You need smart contracts. And that means that when we, you know, recreate social media, when we recreate games, and when we recreate enterprise systems, in every single case, we're going to reimagine what they look like. And their very essence is going to be different. So, you know, I think I mentioned earlier that I believe that the first billion users for blockchain are going to come from SocialFi and GameFi. So this is social media and games blended with DeFi, which will make them fundamentally different in the case, for example, of, you know, social media services today and game services today, to what they're going to be. So it's exciting. It's going to happen incrementally. And I think it's going to start accelerating in the coming years. 10 years from now, the world is going to be a completely different place. Nobody will have any doubt that blockchain is not only the new internet, but the new stack.
Thank you, Dominic. Juan, what do you think would be the trigger of mass adoption?
Yeah, I mean, I think blockchain systems enable many new kinds of technologies and enable new kinds of applications to be built. But at the end of the day, humans haven't changed that much in the last 10, 20 years. So the same sort of applications are going after the same kind of use cases will likely be the billion user type of adoption things. So I agree with Dominic. It's about social experiences, likely games, because games are extremely social. So part of what makes games such a successful thing is that they have high engagement and they enable people to interact for long periods of time in a way that maybe a social network app doesn't. So games are highly engaging and they're very social. So they have like that going for them. So I think it's things like that. So you can think of, I mean, just look at the rise of TikTok and just like the sort of explosion in usage around the world, like very fast. Like we will likely see a blockchain powered social network be the first thing that hits billions of users around the world. Then after that, probably games. And what I think is going to be the most successful thing though, to really kind of cement and keep the users in the long term is going to be some kind of metaverse structure where people's entire notion of their digital self and their digital identity and their digital property and relationships and so on start being mediated by the metaverse. And so you shouldn't think of the metaverse as a thing that you like, as an application that you open. You're in your computer and like you open your email and your social network and your game, and then you open the metaverse. Like, that's not quite the right thing. Think of the metaverse as the entire computing environment in which you open applications, just much more oriented towards interactions and in kind of an immersive environment, and a world where you can own and control the interactions and potentially make them programmable. So this might couple with 3D or may not. It could be that it's 2D. And it might also couple with augmented reality and VR and so on, but all of those things will be enhancements. The metaverse is about how you control the spaces and how you interact with other people. So yeah, again, social to games to metaverse.
Thank you. Vitalik, what do you see as the trigger of mass adoption?
I mean, I think the things that Juan and Dominic mentioned, with like some kind of social media application that incorporates blockchain aspects and finance aspects, there's a lot of opportunity for it. There's a lot of opportunity in games as well. And also, I think things that people are doing today, right? Like even just things like what people are already using blockchains for with around financial and NFT, like ENS, and all of these applications. I think all of those have a lot of room to grow from here as well.
Thank you, Vitalik.